All right, what's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Let's get straight into it with a Forex update. Okay, we have grabbed this extreme liquidity, and technically speaking, we have made a very ugly looking Model 1. Definitely not looking to trade this. Yeah, here you go, tap 1, 2, and 3. What I am looking for is these two to become one tap on a higher time frame, and for us to first mitigate some of this supply and then come back down for a higher time frame, tap 3, and then a convincing break of structure and return back to range high. So that is the plan there. Not looking to along anything just yet. Still these two taps are just way too close to each other. And then contextually speaking, yeah, we're still bearish, and not a whole lot has changed here. In terms of any other POIs that might become of interest, there's nothing on the 30, nothing really on the 15. Not a whole lot on it, honestly. So I will be using this as my extreme liquidity POI for the time being. As it did have that return to zone on the higher time frame, on the lower time frame, sorry. But yeah, other than that, not a whole lot to do for gold just yet. And yeah, more often than not, if you are to get an accumulation, you are going to get that pullback at some point. So there's definitely no need to FOMO in, and let's just wait, because more often than not, price is going to do this. The only question is, will it break structure or will it just continue going lower? As either scenario can happen. So yeah, not a whole lot more that needs to be done for gold just yet. Yeah, we will see what happens. Moving into silver. Okay, we have switched to bullish on the hourly. However, we are still bearish on the 3, probably still bearish on the 4, and so on and so forth. I am going to look at this as a potential accumulation. Just given we're technically already in a confirmed accumulation, so with that being tap 1, tap 2, and tap 3 right here, obviously it is very narrow, but we can look at a potential reaccumulation here. So we will see what happens. But yeah, for now, we are now bullish on the hourly. So we can adjust that as is. I feel like there's some sell side liquidity building up nicely here, and lo and behold, there is. So yeah, this is extreme liquidity. So I do favor a Model 1 here. I very much so favor a Model 1. This liquidity is very, very clean. So yeah, let's see if we do come up and sweep this liquidity, creating that nice buy side liquidity curve, and then we can break structure. Obviously that didn't sweep my drawing, but you get the picture. Yeah, let's just see what happens on this during this local range. For our high is this high, so we can actually we can trade this from a much local perspective, even without the 4 hour going to bullish, because we can actually complete the range by this just wicking on the 4 hour. So valid accumulation to take, but obviously we need some better price action, some more data to collect, and a sweep of this extreme liquidity POI followed by a clean break of structure. But yeah, other than that, at the moment, nothing really. We have respected demand as well, so you've got to be aware of that. That does favor us. Yeah, this is a valid extreme liquidity POI, so I need this to get swept before I enter. Like you can see this curvature forming at the moment. This does not favor an accumulation model because it's favoring a flush back down. So if we can get a model 1, that is preferred, something like that, with obviously a much nicer return to zone than what I've drawn here. So that is the pre-planning for silver at the moment. Asia low is there as well, so Asia high has been taken, so we can expect Asia low to get taken out later on. Yeah, let's see what happens. Oil. We have grabbed this liquidity. We're looking pretty bearish at the moment. Well, maybe we have converted to bullish. Is that true? That's our hourly high. Yes, we have, because if we look at this, yeah, we are bullish. We are bullish on the hourly. So that is fine. Four hourly remains bearish. Daily probably remains bullish. Yep. Well, that is fine. There's probably some local demand here. Don't really expect much from it. But it is valid local demand. As I've said, I don't really expect the greatest reaction from this demand, but if it's there, it's there. Overall, still fairly bullish context, so we can look for accumulations, but just nothing really happening at the moment. So yeah, gonna have to move on. This higher time frame range is still at play, so I do much prefer, or my focus is still on a mitigation of this larger demand POI. So we will see what happens. All right, let's look at Euro GBP. How are we looking? So far, looks like we're still quite bullish from a local standpoint. We've even left behind some unmitigated demand by the looks of it. Now this does look to have been mitigated on the lower time frame. We might have some overlapping demand that hasn't been mitigated. Or we might have some overlapping demand that has been mitigated, but then obviously the higher time frame block has not. So there you go there. And then obviously we've got that naked low right there. Great target. Weekly open still hasn't been swept. Once again, great target. Daily, is that still bearish? Probably. Yeah, so not a whole lot has changed. A lower time frame is bullish, higher time frame is bearish. So we're in that kind of neutral perspective. Locally speaking, we can look for accumulations, but there's just nothing really. There's just nothing forming at the moment. So yeah, let's see what happens later down the track with Euro GBP. But not a whole lot for me to look at for this pair just yet. So we will see what happens. Moving on to USD CHF. Obviously, this has been quite bullish as of late. I feel like we have broken structure there. This is valid. Valid market structure. Okay, we have broken to bearish on the hourly. On the 2 hour, sorry, that's probably also bearish on the hourly. There's our bearish break. Very valid. And then what about the 4 hour? We also bearish on the 4? No, still bullish. So just the 1 and 2 hour are bearish thus far. Obviously, we are bullish on the higher time frame, so just be mindful of that. Given the context, like I'm happy to look for an accumulation here. You know, favor the higher time frame context. So we will see what happens there. Obviously, if we deviate this first without deviating this range low, then I will look for a distribution which aligns with the lower time frame context. But for now, I do want to align with the higher time frame context of the 4 daily and weekly. So yeah, let's see if we can get a. This is nice. Yeah, let's see if we can get an accumulation. Obviously, we've got the Asia high at the range high, which is a fantastic liquidity target. Have that as is. And yeah, just we'll be patient. We can, for now, move this to number 1. And yeah, let's just see how this develops. Hopefully we get a push down in New York, or in London. And then maybe New York can, you know, confirm and take out this Asia high. So let's see what happens there. AUD USD. Yeah, like it's a fairly bullish environment here. So AUD USD, at least from now, on the higher time frame, it still looks quite bearish. Great distribution there, which we've obviously talked about. We might even be leaving behind some form of supply. Yep, that is okay. That's our daily high. Apologies for that. And then yeah, weekly low is quite below us. Yeah, just be mindful that we have obviously just completed this distribution model like there. So I'm not really looking for us to start immediately accumulating. I don't think we will. I think we're going to continue going lower. What I will look at is a potential redistribution of this supply later down the track. And other than that, not a whole lot. So yeah, let's see if we do get some form of range-bound price action with a mitigation of this supply POI. Other than that, nothing really changes here for AUD USD. Not a whole lot. yeah, maybe something like this happens. Boom. So we will see. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot to do just yet. Asia high and Asia low is chilling here. My still target this is Asia low. And then Asia high as well, nice little target here. So let's see what we grab first. Yeah, not a whole lot to do for the time being. GBP, JPY. Well, context is bullish. At least was. It's just not the cleanest accumulation model, but it's valid. Like, it just is valid. And was this an SFP as well, or was this a break of structure? This was an SFP, by the way. Just putting it out there. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? This is I'm actually happy to take this. Great return to zone, locally speaking. Let's just see where the break of structure occurs, if it has it. So even on the 5 minute at the moment, there's no real break of structure. We are leaving behind sell side liquidity, quite a bit of it. So just be mindful there. We just haven't really been presented with any optimal structure breaks here. So we have this 2 minute market structure, which is it's a valid break, but we have left behind sell side, and we are yet to break. So yeah, you could technically enter here if you wanted. Just not that. I feel like we can work with something here, but the break is also outside of our range values, just an FYI. We do like a break inside of our second tap, which is not the case just yet. Oh, actually, is that just because that's just because I've incorrectly pulled a range. Yeah, it's just outside. We're also leaving behind some decent sell side. Asia highs is nicely chilling here. Look, if we can get a more refined entry, I'm willing to try my luck. Because yeah, we're still bullish as of now. I feel like we might have somewhat of a supply POI. Of a demand POI, sorry, here. We'll see how valid this really is on the lower time frame. And then this would be a valid extreme liquidity from a pullback perspective. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't be entering just yet. Just the fact that we are leaving this really beautiful sell side liquidity below us isn't that enticing for me. Yeah, you can use this as demand. So yeah, let's just give this some more time. I can see a lot of potential in this range. Essentially, I'm looking for either a sweep of liquidity and or mitigation of this demand, and alongside a convincing break. So if we do something like this, start slowly pulling back, creating some more nice buy side, sweep this. We don't have to mitigate the demand, but if we sweep this liquidity and then break convincingly, then that's enough for me to enter. But I'll still be putting my stop loss below this third tap, as there's still reason for price to go lower, technically speaking. So yeah, if we can get some sort of long from here, put your stops there, just a break below. And yeah, this alone will give us a decent, 5.87 risk to reward. So yeah, let's see what we can work with here. But yeah, I'm definitely looking for a pullback. I'm not interested in rushing in just yet. If we do take out Asia high, then it'll be different. I'm not going to really look to re-enter unless the conditions look really, really clean. But yeah, for now, just practice patience. Practice patience. Alerts have been set. And that is it, guys. Yeah, let's just see what happens here. In terms of the next market structure that can be broken, I think it's the 15-minute. Or is this valid 40? Okay. This is a valid 45-minute market structure high, which can also be used should we enter at some point and this hasn't been broken yet. We can use this as a potential de-risk later down the track. Definitely not manipulation. So yeah, let's see how this pans out. GBP AUD, we'll move on. Well, this played out somehow. Obviously, they're still looking bullish. I think I remember when we got the confirmation, but yeah, there was just never a clean entry, was there? Asia low below as well. So yeah, plenty of reasons to not enter here. And we have obviously stuck to our plan. We're still bearish on the 4 hour just for now. We haven't exactly broken too bullish, but I feel like we might break to bullish quite soon, depending, based on how explosive this leg has been. We can also pull some demand from here. Yeah, daily is obviously still bullish. Weekly bearish. Yeah, weekly still bearish. We do have liquidity above. So yeah, it is a semi-neutral context at the moment, but there's just no real price action to trade off just yet. So I would be patient and just wait for price to give us something better later down the track. Yeah, not a whole lot at the moment to do. NZD CAD. We have broken too bullish here. That's our break. Right there. Yet to break too bearish. Have we broken to bullish on the 4? No, we have not. Everything else remains bearish by the looks of it, so we're just bullish on the hour. Which is obviously favoring a high time frame distribution model because we want price to... Actually, as a matter of fact, no we don't. Technically we want price to reach our range low. So then we can, mitigate this and align with our weekly bias of being bullish. But that's always not the case. But for now, I am happy to just monitor this local price action and see if we do get a move down. Asia low is the range low, which is always a good, nice thing to see. So yeah, let's see if we do get a range creation here. But yeah, let's just be patient. I will move this up for now. Not a whole lot more to do there. Looking at AUD CAD. Well, we have ran through demand, and I have a feeling some of the bias has changed. Okay, so we are, we are bearish on the, sorry, I just realized you guys can't really see me. We are bearish on the hourly. Following market structure, we broke structure there. Are we bearish on the 4 hour? No, still bullish. So yeah, we're just bearish on the 1 hour. Can remove that weekly open. I wouldn't be looking to accumulate just yet, just based on how many supply POIs are in here. Plus, we've got absolutely zero return to zone, so just be mindful of that. And we've also failed to break supply. Well, we've got a potential 45-minute market structure high break here on GBP JPY, which could dictate a lot of things, and I think we're close to... We'll jump to that real quick. But yeah. Yeah, we've got last week's weekly open here, which hasn't been swept. Yeah, I do feel like this might get taken out. But yeah, as much as the context is bullish, it's just not my favorite environment at the moment to long in. Especially based on how fast we're coming down and how much supply is being created in the process. So I do want to approach this with a little more caution. Regardless, I will still draw a range just because we are bullish pretty much everywhere else but the hourly. So we'll see if anything plays out. But yeah, there's quite a bit of supply at the moment to be wary of. So yeah. All right, let's have a look at, before I go to GBP AUD. We've already done GBP AUD, I believe. Yeah, let's look at GBP JPY. I just want to see when the 45-minute candle closes. Okay, I can detect an SFP here, potentially. We'll see. 15 closed at 6:15, so we've got quite a bit of time there. Yeah, we'll leave that. Let that play out. USD JPY. I like this a little bit better. Yeah, we're very much so bullish here. Happy to look at this as a range. Yeah, bullish across the board here. Not a whole lot has really changed. Supply is like minimal. Yes, there is fair value gaps created, but it's not really clean supply. Here is our extreme liquidity as well, which is quite nice. Yeah, so far this is favoring an accumulation model. I'm also interested to see where my Asia high is nice. Yeah, let's just let this play out and see what happens. If we can get a local pullback, creating that nice buy side liquidity with a clean break, that is enough for me to long. I don't need a mitigation of this demand, not necessarily. If we do, then that's obviously a bonus. But with that Asia high being there, that is just such a great magnet, as alongside with the whole context being so bullish. So yeah, this is actually quite nice. So I will move this, probably move this to number 1 for now. All right, let's look at Euro USD. Well, we have switched to bullish on the hourly for now, leaving some nice demand there. Maybe even on the 4-hour. Okay, 4-hour still bearish. Everything else still seems to be bearish. Yep. Everything else still remains bearish. Minus the hour. I'm happy to look at this as a potential range. Still needs a bit more time, but you never know. For a retracement POI, maybe this could be nice. Let's see if it's valid. Okay, not really. There's no real clean extreme liquidity POI from this. But yeah, we'll analyze this as a few things that could be a play here. We could have a little distribution scalp in here, targeting the Asia low. Yeah, Asia low is essentially at the range low here. Context is fairly bearish, minus the hourly, which is bullish, so distribution here is still in favor. So obviously we can look at this from a potential creating a distribution in order to create a higher time frame accumulation, something like that. Then we take an accumulation there, back up to range high. So a lot of things we can look at here. Don't mind what I'm seeing. The only thing I would have liked is just a cleaner extreme liquidity POI from an accumulation aspect, but yeah, there's just nothing really. Yeah, I kind of just have to use this. This is as close as I can get to a extreme liquidity POI. It's not the greatest, but it is something. So yeah, let's see what happens. But if I can get a distribution here, that would be ideal from this local range. All right, we'll move this up. GBP NZD. We have swept the weekly open. We have also transitioned to bearish on the hourly. I think bullish remains on everything else. Sorry, no. We're still bearish on the 4 as well, so we're now bullish on the hourly as well. And then daily, I believe, remains yep. Daily remains bullish for now. And yeah, the weekly remains bearish. So yeah, it is kind of like a weird context at the moment. Look, there's a few ranges I can look at. This being one of them. And then we've even got this. There is obviously no return to zone here. So that's something to be aware of. Supply as well isn't the cleanest. But I think in terms of extreme liquidity, there is a valid extreme liquidity POI right there. I just don't like this price action, to be honest. Like, yeah, it is a POI, but it's not pretty. Not pretty at all. We'll see what happens. I need a much better return to zone if I was to ever take a long here, which you're obviously not seeing at the moment. And then we do have some nice Asia liquidity above. Yeah, if we can get something like this happening, then I'll be fine with that, but let's just be patient and see what happens. At the moment, price action isn't really the best. And we're also in this high time frame range, so that's also something to be cautious of. So yeah, let's see what happens here. AUD CHF. Well, we've mitigated supply and we've left even more supply. So I'll say we're looking pretty bearish at the moment. Can't exactly remember what the context was. Okay, still bullish on the daily. Yeah, we are now bearish on the 4 hour as well. So yeah, let's just see what happens here. Nothing really to talk about from a local perspective. This just needs a bit more time. Euro NZD focus is still on this higher time frame range. Yeah, so sentiment hasn't really changed. But yeah, this just needs more time. We've kind of got this terrible looking distribution zone, but the bias is bullish. So you can kind of look at this as an accumulation. Yeah, there's no structure break on the hourly. I would definitely look to accumulate this if I was any one of you guys. If there's an Asia liquidity as well, then A star, yeah, A star setup right here. Boom. Mitigated demand, like this looks quite good. Just need price to develop a little bit longer. From a POI perspective, we're in the process of creating liquidity, so I would just be patient. That has been mitigated. Yeah, I would technically classify this as some form of demand. And now I'm going to draw my liquidity, but it's not really confirmed liquidity just yet, as we do need price to make that, slightly high or low. So we can look at something like this for now. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Move USD CAD to second. And then let's finish off with GBP USD. I'm seeing a potential distribution occur at the moment. We are in a fairly bearish environment. Yeah. We've gone to bullish. Okay, so we're bullish on the hour, but I think we're bearish on everything else. Yep, that's fine. Just bullish on the hour. But I'm happy to look at this as a potential distribution model, so we will see. Asia lows. So quite a few potential models forming quite nicely. Yeah, I'll give this a bit more time. Naked low at the range low, which is quite nice. So yeah, let's see how this develops. We can shuffle this up. But yeah, that is it for today, guys. Plenty of pairs to monitor. We got USD JPY, USD CAD looking pretty good. USD CHF in the process, still needs a bit more time. NZD CAD, same thing, in the process, needs a bit more time. GBP USD will move this up because this looks quite nice. Euro USD as well, looks pretty good. And yeah, we've got quite a few potential plays here. I've set my alerts, just got to be patient. And then yeah, in commodities, silver, although I don't really like it just yet. Similar to gold, don't really like it just yet. And then oil, not a whole lot to do at the moment. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, for viewing, subscribe if you have made it this far, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.